Hola, chaparritos. Bueno, yo no sé si son chaparritos, pero varios de mis estudiantes son niños pequeños. Entonces yo tengo el hábito de decir eso. Pero quizá uno de ustedes son adultos. Y de hecho estoy recibiendo muchos likes y cosas así. Y yo creo que varios de ustedes, de hecho, no son niños. Hoy vamos a estar hablando acerca del imperativo. So what is the imperativo? El imperativo is something that has to do with commands, right? The imperative. It seems complicated because it really is involved and there's a lot that goes into it, but it's actually pretty simple. And so let me go ahead and share a screen with you. It's actually pretty simple. And the way I break it down, I can break this down really easy for you guys. Okay, remember how we always start? We always start with this format. That's why this format is like the center of Spanish. It's the subject pronouns. This should be the center of any language you're learning. Because if you don't know who's doing the verb, you're going to be lost in the conversation. Even if you learn a bunch of verbs and nouns and feel like you have a pretty good grasp on the language, you're always going to be confused who's doing what, which makes a big difference um, in the meaning of what is being said. So what we have to do is make sure we know these. Yo means I. Tú means you. Él, he, ella, she, it. Remember, sometimes a thing can do a verb. Usted is you, formal. Nosotros means we. Vosotros means you guys in Spain. Ellos, they. Ellas, they, if they're all females. Ustedes means you guys in Latin America. So the command form. Okay, so if we want to do commands, when you're commanding somebody, you can only command the people that you are directly speaking to. So that automatically eliminates the third person. You can't command somebody in the third person because by definition, the third person is someone who you are not speaking to. So it doesn't work. Once you start speaking to that person, they automatically become the second person. They can be singular or plural. Likewise, you cannot command yourself. And so the yo form is X'd out. The nosotros form is not X'd out because you can command in the first person plural, meaning like a group. So if you're part of the group, you can command the whole group in the nosotros form. In English, you would say like, let's go. You use the word let's. But in Spanish, there's going to be conjugations for that. So we have to learn all these conjugations and we have to learn how the command form works. Luckily, I've thought a lot about this and I've read a lot of books and got educated on in Spanish, and so I understand how all this works and it's fun to me. I really enjoy this. So I don't mind making these videos. So yo, we can't command in the yo form. Nosotros, yes. Tú, yes, we can command in the tú form. That's the second person singular informal. Vosotros, that's the second person plural in Spain. Usted, that's the second person formal. You can definitely command in that as well. And also ustedes is the plural form of that. So, but it's not necessarily formal. Ustedes is not necessarily formal anymore. There was a time when it was. Vosotros was the informal and ustedes was the formal. But now ustedes is just the one that you use, period. Unless you're in Spain, then you have like that option. And I suppose that in Spain, ustedes would be more formal than vosotros. Anyway, please go back and watch my other videos where I go more in depth about those and the regular ARERIR endings. But here we are going to be talking about the command forms. Now, the way to do this is to visualize. I'm actually going to put it on a different board. Is to visualize it just like this. Hold on, let me make more room. Remember that format? Remember this? Or I mean, what does this look like? This is the format. Just like this. See that? This is my own invention. It makes it easy. Obviously, there's no yo form, so this is X'd out. We don't worry about this one, right? But the to form, if it's an AR verb, the ending goes to A. If it's an ER or an IR verb, the ending goes to E. So nothing new here. This is, I mean, some of the verbs already do this anyway. You know, a lot of the IR verbs like escribir, él escribe, it goes to an E, like in the third person, right? Él escribe rápido, he writes fast. But if I'm talking to you in the to form, I say escribe, escribe, write, escríbelo rápido, write it quickly. Or I can say habla, háblame, speak to me, háblame ya, speak to me right now. But if it's the usted form, now remember, we normally have él and ella down here in this lower left-hand compartment as well, right? With the format, we normally have él and ella, but it's X'd out. We're just doing usted. So if it's the usted form, now the letters switch. If I want to say hablar, I say hable, hábleme, speak to me, hábleme, hábleme usted, usted, hábleme, hábleme. If it's in the to form, I say háblame, háblame, háblame tú, hábleme usted. If you say it fast, I mean, you might not even, you know, realize that you used the wrong letter anyway. So if you're like a novice at this, just you can kind of make like a neutral vowel sound, and it kind of sounds like a between A and E, and nobody will probably even notice. But anyway, if you're writing it, you have to use the right letter. And it's good to know the right way to do it anyway. So, hábleme, hábleme, speak to me, usted, hábleme. Escribir is an IR verb, so it'd be escríbame, escríbame, write me, escríbame, por favor, write me please, escríbame. But if it's an ER verb like aprender, we can't say aprende, aprende español, learn Spanish. That would be the to form, aprende español, tú, aprende español. But if it's the usted form, I say, yo recomiendo que usted aprenda español. De hecho, sí, aprenda español, apréndalo, learn it, learn Spanish, aprenda español. Now, if it's a nosotros form, if I say let's talk, I would say hablemos. It has to be an E. If it's an AR verb, it goes to an E, hemos. If it's an ER or an IR verb, it goes to an A, amos, amos. And you'll see that in the ustedes form as well. It just switches, the letter switches. So if it's like, I'm going to get back to vosotros here afterwards. But ustedes, hablar, hablen, speak, háblenme, speak to me, ustedes, háblenme ustedes. Or aprendan español, learn Spanish, you guys, aprendan español, apréndanlo, learn it. Or escriban, write, escriban ustedes, write it, escribanlo, escribanlo en la pizarra, write it on the board, escribanlo en la pizarra. And so basically, let me change my color here. These ones, you have a letter change. The A goes to an E, right? The ER and the IR goes to an A. Same thing with these ones. It's the exact same. The A goes to an E, the ER and the IR goes to an A. And the same thing with these ones. The A goes to an E, and the E and the I go to an A. So these are all essentially the same. For the To form, all you have to remember is basically get rid of the S and just do it the same way you would, as if it were like the usted form or something, or the third person singular. And so the to form's really easy. Now the vosotros form, it's a little bit harder because you have to remember there's a D. But other than that, it's pretty easy. The A stays the same, the E stays the same, and even the I stays the same. You just put a D at the end. So hablad, you say habladme, speak to me, vosotros, speak to me, you guys, vosotros, habladme. Or aprendedlo, learn Spanish, aprended español, you guys, vosotros, aprended español. Or you'd say escribidlo en la pizarra, write it on the board, you guys, vosotros, escribid. Notice that the D in Spanish, it kind of sounds like a TH if it doesn't come after a nasal, like an M or an N, in which case it would sound like a D. Or if it were at the very beginning of what you were saying, like the very first letter, then it'll just sound like a D. But if it's a D like in between, vowels, or if it's a D that's, at the end of a word, it's going to sound like more like a TH, but a TH with vocal sound. So the aprended. Anyway, so if it's a negative, now let's talk about negative commands. So let's go over here. And then this is where we'll stop after talking about the negative ones. And remember, these are just for regular verbs. We're going to have irregular verbs. Verbs that are irregular in the command form, irregular imperative. And they tend to match the verbs that are irregular in the present tense, like tener. Anyway, we'll talk about that probably in the next video. Either way, I'll definitely be making a video on it. So these are the negative commands. And once again, we can't command in the yo form. Or, well, we don't command ourselves. If you were to command yourself, how would you do it? You would probably do it in the to form. That's how I would do it. If I were talking to myself, for example, I would talk to myself in the to form. Which, by the way, I recommend talking to yourself. Some people think, oh, that's crazy, don't talk to you. But it's actually good, especially if you're learning another language. It's good to just kind of talk to yourself for practice. So, maybe some people look at you weird, but you can just have your, earbuds in and pretend like you're talking to somebody on the phone. Like, what? I'm just on the phone. Anyway, so there's nothing in the yo form. There's nothing in the el ella form or the it form. But look what we have here. Now we're just switching the letters on pretty much all of them. So the AR, now we're going to keep the S on the to form. If it's a negative to form, you say, remember, if it's a positive to form, hablar, you would say like habla, háblame tú, right? Háblame tú. And there should be an accent mark above this A right here. But I don't want to get too bogged down in the details because this video is not going to be about the accent marks. I'll do another one sometime in the future. It's important to know where to put the accent mark, but not right now. So, two, if it's negative, then we say no hables, and you have to have an S. No hables, no hables. You would say no, and if you say me, it has to go before. No me hables, no me hables. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. It's not a very nice thing to say. Hopefully you never hear anybody tell you that, but hey, If you do, at least you will understand them. No me hables. No me hables. Don't talk to me. Hábleme. Talk to me. No me hables. Don't talk to me. Okay. Just like the ER and the IR verbs, they also do this. It's gonna switch. So the AR goes to an E, the ER and the IR go to an A. Same thing with these ones over here. Usted, AR goes to an E, ER and IR go to an A. Same thing over here, only it'll be with the MOS at the end because there's nosotros, but essentially it's just the switching of the letter. It's switching every time. And the same thing with the ustedes form. It's switching. And so the only one that I want to show special attention to also essentially does the same thing. The A goes to an E. The E and the I go to an A. And so the negative commands are actually pretty easy. But the vosotros commands, remember the regular, the present tense for vosotros, it has the ais and the eis and the is. So like habláis, you guys speak, habláis. If I say don't speak, I say no habléis, no habléis. Or no, if I say vosotros escribís, you guys write, I say no escribáis, no escribáis. It actually sounds kind of cool, right? It kind of makes me want to go to Spain and go over there. No escribáis. And everybody like, oh, what are you talking about? Anyway, so yeah, I mean, that's it. I can do some examples here. Let's do some examples. Actually, let's go over here. Let's see if you guys have a memory. I know it's kind of hard. Let's give it a shot. I say, don't speak, and this is the to form. So what's that going to be? Don't speak in the to form. What are you going to say? You say, no hables. No hables. What if I say, speak to me? Speak to me in the to form. What's it going to be? Háblame. What if I say, aprender? Learn Spanish in the usted form. What's it going to be? Learn Spanish usted. It's going to be aprender, aprenda español, usted. Aprenda español. Aprenda español. Notice español is in lowercase in Spanish. In English, uppercase. What if I say, write me, you guys, in the vosotros form? Write me. How would I say that? Write me. Escribir, escribid, escribidme. Escribidme. Write me. What if I say, don't write me in the ustedes form? Don't write me in the ustedes form. Oops. Don't write me. What's it going to be? No. And where does the may go? It has to go before the conjugated verb. No me. Escribir is an IR verb. Escribir but it's ustedes, and it's a negative command. So we have to change the I to an A, and since it's ustedes, that R has to be an N. No me escriban. No me escriban. Should I do a nosotros one? Let's do it with learn. Let's say, let's not learn. Well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah. Let's not learn math. Let's learn Spanish. How about that? Let's not learn math. And then I'll put it down here. Let's learn Spanish. By the way, math is matemática. La matemática. You can also say mate for short. Some people say that. Okay. Let's not learn matemática. Let's keep it like that, no? Let's not learn math. No aprender nosotros. I don't have to put nosotros. It's implied because it says let's, right? No aprendamos. No aprendamos matemática. By the way, you should probably really learn math. This is just an example, right? I didn't want to put a language there because then people would be like, whoa, what do you mean you shouldn't learn Russian? I actually really recommend learning Russian or Chinese or any other language. They're all great. And I actually also recommend learning math. So anyway, sorry, bad example. But when you say, let's not learn something, what can I possibly say that wouldn't be controversial, right? Anyway. So let's learn Spanish. What do I have to do? No aprendamos matemática. We say, Hey, it's going to be the same. Aprendamos. Aprendamos español. Muy bien. All right. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and I'll put some homework in the comments. Go ahead and write your answers in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Hasta luego. Ciao. Goodbye.